We'll take a quick spin around the yard to see what's hanging in there with little effort. Of course, the elephant ear is killing it. This has been the year of kind of low maintenance, snow maintenance. It's been so hot and humid. I have had little desire to really come out and putter around. And the weather finally is what it should be for New England. 70s, breezy, not humid. So I've been out here the last few days, really thinking things through. As everybody may or may not know, this is my garden bed I struggle with to try to get color, and I can't seem to find the happy medium. Love the butterfly bush, still love my elephant ear for hiding the utilities, and the hibiscus always kind of gets lanky, and the globe thistle always looks kind of icky. I don't really know why. See how it just browns and crisps? Maybe I don't water it enough. It's not super rich soil over here because obviously there's a lot of utilities. So I'm thinking I'm going to dig up the hibiscus, as beautiful as it is. I'm just too darn shady. So that'll go to my parents' house, who are full blazing sun, and they've got all the space for it. And in its place, I'm thinking of moving the little clearance topiary rose that I got. This guy was just really hideous, and I have not done anything to take care of it. So it's a knockout. It's hanging in there. So we'll try that over by the house, and maybe it'll encourage me to take care of it more because it's so close to the house. And I know roses need a lot of maintenance, which is why I've always avoided them. But that was such a bargain. This also, I'm going to go back to doing more annuals here. A couple of years ago, I did bubblegum petunia, and it was beautiful. So I need to stick with that because I really like the impact. This is very bleh. But without any maintenance, could be worse. This is really gross over here. Also, that's kind of the theme here. A stilby will get transplanted into the ground. Geraniums, love, love, love. Sedum looks good from afar. And that Orangium, I will transplant into the ground and see if she comes back next year. Also love the mojito. It's looking a little worse for the wear. You'll see a lot of debris because I'm kind of in work mode. I did not pick everything up to make it nice and pretty. Just kind of, this is where I'm at, and I keep putting off this walk around, and the more I put it off, the more I'm afraid I won't do it, or the deer will come through and eat all my hostas back along the rock wall because I am taking the fence down. I haven't really shown this year because it's been 100% neglected. I've done nothing other than put this grass in the ground that was on the other side of the yard, on the hill garden. And what else have I done over here? I think literally nothing. I had put the lady's mantle here maybe this spring, or was it the fall? I don't know. And bugs have just kind of been crazy over here. The deer just came, like in the last month, ate the lilies. They usually do. Brunnera, I want to transplant because I really enjoy that plant, and it's just not getting seen over here. And the Polemonium, I love that. These are the spot on. I've never seen the deer eat those. They ate them this year, and they bounced right back, so cool. And the Aurelia was completely twigs, and it looked like bugs had eaten all of that. This actually, right there, will kind of show it. So a bunch of little twiggies. It's so pretty over here though, because when you pull in the driveway, like it's just this little beacon. So back over here where most of the work's been happening. I was just really motivated today because the weather's beautiful. So I figured it's time to just handle some of this. Ultimately, we've got some trees that are going to come down over here. these big guys, a couple of those, which will open it right up. And I'm hoping to transplant that hydrangea that's over back by the rose standard. That can come over here. So when you pull in the driveway, you'll see kind of a pop of something. And these are just kind of unloved or divided hostas, heuchera, which the heuchera, I'm really pleased. They did very well this year. They've been really weak in the past, so I have zero expectations if they survive. I'm pleased. If they don't, I'm not surprised. So over here this morning, I kind of dug up along there. In the spring, we get a lot of standing water, and it naturally has kind of diverted back there to the rock wall. And I'm just going to try to help it go that way clearly and make a little division. So I moved this hellebore, which was way back there and did wonderfully, brought that more forward. And this little apple twist, which originally had been planted over by my shed. I'm very pleased. The variegated Solomon seal was hanging in there. It was kind of weak when I put that in the ground. Speaking of weak, my variegated Jacob's ladder over here, it was kind of sad. But I will say the deer fencing that I had up was kind of going right across it. So voles have made their way into this bed. Despite, I think once maybe I put vole repellent down. I was much more diligent about deer this year. So when I came out, the voles completely ate underneath 3 different hostas completely, so there were no roots. These other ones the deer had nibbled on the night I left the gate open, and I just haven't come through and removed tattered leaves. So, a little close up on some of the hostas. This was a new one this year, Pocket Full of Sunshine. It's a mini. This one over here, I cannot remember what it is. The bluish one. I'm surprised I don't have a tag there. Brother Stefan always has been a favorite. Huge. Love it. Because I had the deer fencing up this year, my variegated phlox killed it. I'm so pleased with that. It has been nibbled year after year, right as it's about to bloom, so I'm very happy. I finally get to appreciate it. Cardinal flower kind of took over, which is fine. It's super easy to pull out, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Not a heck of a lot happening, other than I'm really disappointed this is reverting. This is One Last Dance, which has always been really pretty and kind of limey, and I dug out a chunk that had reverted to green, and these barely have any variegation on them, so kind of a bummer. And Cross a Regal in the back, I swear it used to be more blue, but I might be losing my mind. But this is so shiny and green, and that is a very aggressive, I guess you could say. I could divide that every year if I wanted to, because that was a division years ago at work, and I divided the one at work at least a dozen times. Oh, I forgot that little Brunner is down there. I really need to transplant that baby. These didn't thrive this year. Probably, well, that one back there is buried, but I didn't do any fertilizing. This was a transplant from when I did that ditch back there. We'll see. This is like a rogue cardinal flower. I can't remember the specific name, but that, I never planted a blue one, so I don't really know where that came from, unless it somehow came from one of these. Not really sure. So the vole's favorite, if anybody's ever wondering, is Autumn Frost. Completely ate both of them, and they are nowhere near each other really. 2 separate gardens, and those are the hostas they targeted. None of these other ones over here. Kind of moved a little bit around. Praying Hands, which is over here and here now, was kind of right there, and it was very crowded, And Hudson Bay is one of my favorite hostas, so I had to give that the space it deserves to fill in. This GM was kind of weak. Maybe because it was crowded, I don't know. But I like the Hakanakloa. That looks really nice texture-wise. I do wish it was variegated, but I'm happy to have it. Captain Kirk is really bright and shiny this year. I love that. I also transplanted this hellebore. That was kind of over there where the praying hands is, and I wanted to move it a little bit closer to where these other hellebores are. And here's the other Hudson Bay, which is a little bit more green. And Loyalist is really, really pretty. I'm kind of disappointed too in the bugleweed. I had a lot more of this like variegated lighter tone mixed in, but it seems to be the green is the dominant and taking over, of course. So from afar, this is kind of my favorite section of the garden. I just like the colors and some of the textures. I do need some blue still, whether I get a larger blue hosta. This isn't the most beautiful, very neglected over here. I love the contrast here. Woo La La, which has been in the pot. I've been debating if I was going to put it back here. That's why I haven't done it. I think my last video I said that I wasn't sure about the texture. This is the other autumn frost, which, like, this is what voles do. Just eat the roots completely. I don't really know why I'm keeping these stuck in here. I guess a little fantasy that maybe they'll root. I don't think they will. Deer damage happened earlier, I don't know, a month ago at least. And that'll still be, I never really watered it very well. I know it'll come back next year. Joe Pyeweed's been a beauty. I still haven't moved that because, like I said, I just haven't been in the mood to do much until recently. Boy, it's really pretty though, and driving by, I see it everywhere in other people's gardens. It just looks really nice. The other hosta, so this was the third hosta that the voles ate, was High Society. Completely ate it right up. Like there was nothing, just whole. Love that. These little suckers, I don't know if they're just on their way out because it's the end of season. Some of them were snapped, probably from the wind, but also it's been very dry here lately. Debris because I started taking the fencing down. So it's afternoon, it's gonna be a little bit harsh. Still have the fantasy of mulching all of this up, removing this clump of trees. Because I realized we've been here 13 years, and all of these like pine trees you see on the edge used to be little saplings, and the trees are just taking over. So we have a lot more cutting to do with the chainsaw. I'm really happy with the geraniums. Oh, that was the other thing. I finally finished transplanting the other chunk of geraniums that were over by the propane tank. So they're gonna be like the pinky colored. Then I have this one clump of purple and then more of this pinky color, which the purple is Roseanne, and I don't recall the name of the pinky ones. It's a little bit smaller of a flower. But I hope they do okay here in the full sun. So this is a cutting garden, which I did cut a bouquet this week, but it's kind of slim pickings. That's why I took the fencing down. Ageratum, which I tried like heck to keep up with pulling, and I did pull a ton. There's still a bunch in here in bloom. All the snapdragons look kind of nice from afar. They're not worth anything in bouquets because they're so spindly, but I don't mind looking at them. Kind of like the bachelor's buttons. Second flush, not really long enough to do much with, but still pretty. And the larkspur back there. So this has potential. It could be, I don't know, if I brought in some fill or mulch, I guess I could eventually expand that into garden, but it's awfully shady. So, not much to look at over here either. Oh, I do still have a little bit of Lysianthus. So this was great. The one that survived had many, many, many stems. Beautiful. And I love how like multi-stemmed they are. Celosia is awesome. Like that could almost be a bedding plant. It's so bushy and colorful and has been like that all summer. So that really makes me want to just grow it in the garden to have it. And my straw flower, which are pretty much over my head. Super pretty. So, ugly little pom-pom dahlia. I totally have given up on those. Will not be bothering with them again. And because I took my fence down, my big old marigolds flip-flopped over. I need to string them up. And I love just how cheery they are from afar. So more debris out and about because fencing's coming down. And over here, I know a lot needs to happen. The Carl Forster, which is the grasses to the left, all need to go, and I would love to have like a narrow strip bed along the driveway, but it would have to be stuff the deer don't eat. So yeah, Carl Forster would be fine, but I don't know what else. I do have some powdery mildew on the zinnias. This dahlia never bloomed, never has done anything beyond what you see here. So I don't know what to do about that. Just pulled out the cuke today, and I have sun gold. I pulled all the others. And this hibiscus does really, really well. But boy, they take up a lot of space, which is why the white one will just go to my parents. Oh, must be close to 3:30, school bus backing up. I also think I'm going to move this Rudbeckia, because this dahlia, this orange one, is the only one that has been worth cutting all season and using in bouquets. So that one I really enjoy. Very pleased with that. And this giant bushy thing, which is definitely 6 feet tall, I think I should move it to behind or over beside the cutting garden over there. Because see how the Rudbeckia that I have now looks nice and bright and cheery. So if I did a little like pop over here somewhere, it would look nice from afar. And, oop, don't need to be that zoomed in. By moving that out of the way, I could move the other hydrangea. So over there in the front is the matching hydrangea to this quick fire. So if I move that Rudbeckia, I could space it out so that I have a little hydrangea kind of pattern. At least there would be 2 of them. And then I could put another red hibiscus in between the 2 hydrangea. So I'm thinking about that. Pink and red. I don't know. I finally have worked over here as well. This is what I did this morning when it was shady. I moved this second one. This guy over here was there, so it's over there now. And I had these little heuchera in a pot and the heucherella in the back there. So I'm going to try to have a little bit neater perennial section on this side. And I finally rearranged the hostas as well with the astilbe in the back over there. So I finally got that done. Leaves options for the future. I have bags of mulch every which way. Debating if I'm going to do a cover crop buckwheat. And I've never been a tiller, but I think I'm going to rototill this hill because it's such heavy clay. And for years, I've been trying to plant over here and amending. So it's going to happen this year, I think. Maybe we can look at some zinnias up close. These are super cool this year. They're Mazurkia. Pretty funky. These ones are not my favorite. Kind of pale. Oh, speaking of buckwheat, this is what buckwheat looks like when it goes to bloom. That tall, skinny. So these, I believe, are the Cinderella lilac. And then Senora is another one that I had in here. And then the Queen Lime, which is always a favorite, whether they're singles or doubles. I barely had any doubles. Now see, these look like Cinderella because they're like the ruffled appearance. I don't know. So pretty. I'm a little bit bummed that I don't have more diversity, but yeah, see, no doubles on these Queen Limes. Too bad. All right, wasted enough time looking at the ugly stuff. And then we've been working up here. I did a little bit of cutting on the espalier that lost a ton of branches and leaves and whatnot. Complete bug disease magnet, so I'm just prepping it to dig out and remove. I've had enough. Really enjoying the coleus up here. Yeah, the light's harsh, but you get the idea with the albrido and the lime. I've thrown a couple asters up here as well. I'm not huge into mums. And the bees just love the asters so much. So, boy, how many times have I said so? If you did a shot every time, you'd be drunk by now. This has been in its glory. Bee Haven. It's kind of funny. My husband thought we had a fly in the house, and he was hearing the bees buzzing on the hydrangea through the window. It's kind of funny. And a couple of fall containers. So what I ordered in was, instead of a ton of cabbage and kale, these are a type of bok choy. I thought that was really cool with the alyssum. And one more aster. And then one more aster. I've removed a few things from over here. This phlox has been beautiful. I've cut that a few times. Of course, the shade of the elephant ear isn't really doing that justice. And the Rose of Sharon is taking a hike. I've had it with the seedlings, and it's just not beautiful to me. Elephant ear, yeah. Too bad it kind of grew out towards the driveway and not straight ahead, because every time I get in and out of the car. And these little petunias are hanging in there, along with the impatiens. They're not a perfect color combo, but something bright to look at. There you have it. It's the September check-in.